Crimes, Cyber, and Forensics Unit, ATF's Resident Agent in Charge, Janice Castillo, Mr. Greg Wims, the founder of the Victims' Right Foundation, and Miss Wims, the mother of our victim today. And with that, I'll hand it over to Chief Davis.
Thanks, Katie. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for coming out for this important announcement. 43-year-old Kaiwan Omar Braxton Trott McLean remains wanted for the October 2nd murder of 31-year-old Brandon Wims. That hasn't changed. What has changed is today's announcement of an enhanced reward of now $11,000 for information that leads to the capture of Trott McLean. $5,000 of that $11,000 reward money is being contributed by ATF, Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. They remain a great federal partner, and I'm really appreciative that Janice Castillo is here, our resident agent in charge from our local ATF office. ATF is always first to the scene, first to the plate, first to our assistance anytime we ask them for their help. Another $5,000 of the $11,000 is being contributed by the Victims' Rights Foundation, founded in 1996, and you'll soon hear from William Gregory Wims, who founded the Victims' Rights Foundation in 1996, and now, so many years later, finds himself and the rest of the Wims family dealing with an unimaginable tragedy and circumstances, the uncle. So you're going to hear a recap of what happened on October the 2nd. We know that Trott McLean knows that he is wanted. We know that he's still local, and we know that he's playing games with the Fairfax County Police Department. And while he's playing his games, he's putting this community at risk. So there have been a couple of occasions where we were very close to capturing Trott McLean, and we haven't. And we think the announcement of this enhanced reward will rattle the cage a little bit, because we need to get Trott McLean off the street. He needs to begin his journey in the criminal justice system and be held accountable for what he did on October the 2nd to Brandon. Unacceptable. We know who he is. He knows he's wanted. If he's listening today, he can always turn himself in. He just needs to dial 911. If anyone knows his whereabouts, you're going to hear from Major O'Carroll about how you can communicate with the Fairfax County Police Department and how you can communicate with crime solvers. We need to get Trott McLean off the street, and we think this enhanced reward announcement will do just that. So I'll turn it over to Major Ed O'Carroll now. He'll go over some of the circumstances of October the 2nd and provide some additional information for folks to come forward and stand with us and get this killer off the street. Major.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate that. What a tragedy. What a tragedy the county experienced. What a tragedy the Wim family experienced. Law enforcement stands with our victim and our family. But I do have a message for our killer. Surrender on your terms or be arrested on ours. As the chief said, this has gone on entirely too long. Today is day 60. And our commitment on behalf of the Fairfax County Police Department, with our federal partner here today, the ATF, the family most impacted by this violence, and the Fairfax County community stands together to get Trott McLean in custody. So I do want to bring you back to the morning of October 2nd. Early in the morning, just shortly after 7 a.m., gunfire rang out in the 5800 block of St. Gregory's Lane in the Alexandria area of Fairfax County. The victim was attended to by the police officers and the fire and rescue department, transported to the hospital, and very sadly, profoundly sad, we've learned that morning, just an hour and several minutes after the shooting, that he was pronounced deceased. So Trot McLean was identified as the killer. Warrants were obtained and have been on file for now 60 days. He is charged with second-degree murder, the use of a firearm in the commission of a felony, and a felon in possession of a firearm and ammunition. So that does tell you that this individual, Trot McLean, is not new to the law enforcement community. We've had plenty of contacts with him before. As the chief said, he knows he's wanted. We're now letting everyone in Fairfax County know that he is Fairfax County's most wanted. We do ask any member of the community that sees this offender out on the street not to approach, to dial 911. He should be considered armed and dangerous. The firearm used in this murder has not been recovered. If you have any information on his whereabouts, contact 911. You can contact our crime solvers at 1-866-411-TIPS, and you can remain anonymous and still benefit in that significant reward. As the chief said, what was $1,000 for the past 59 days, today on day 60 is now at $11,000. So we ask anyone with information to come forward. We do want to put this individual where he belongs, and that's at the Fairfax County Adult Detention Center. And with that, I'll turn it over to our very close partner on this case, like the ATF has been on other cases. Thank you for your support.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chief. Good morning, everyone. My name is Janice Castillo, and I am the resident agent in charge for the ATF Falls Church Field Office. Today, I am here to pledge the full support of the ATF during this ongoing investigation. Tragically, Mr. Brandon Wims lost his life, and the lives of several other people were ultimately affected because of another act of senseless gun violence. The ATF mission is very clear. We combat violent crime, and we investigate the criminal use of firearms. We will continue to work collaboratively with the Fairfax Police Department and our other vital law enforcement partners to remove illegal firearms from our communities. To that end, ATF is offering additional $5,000 reward, leading to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for the senseless death of Mr. Wims. Thank you.
My name is Greg Wims, founder of Victims' Rights Foundation, which is 26 years old. And we pretty much work with law enforcement and crime solvers from Baltimore to Richmond. In our 26-year history, we have never had a member of our own family, whether it be volunteer or blood family member, to be killed by a very bad person. So today, our board of directors is announcing that we're adding $5,000 to the reward, and you've heard now it's up to $11,000 total to get this very dangerous person off the street. We ask everyone who sees this in the news to please call 911, because we understand from family members that this gentleman is in the community. A lot of people have seen him, but no one has called. It is anonymous. No one will know that you've called the police, and you will, in fact, receive, once he's arrested and convicted, that $11,000. So with that, we just ask, if he's listening and watching the news, that you turn yourself in. As you just heard, you're Fairfax County's #1 suspect at this time. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Miss Wims. I'm Brandon Wims' mom. I'm here today to let you know that I am broken without my child. He was a good kid, a good son, a good uncle, a good friend, a good cousin. He was as good to anybody that he came across of, and he was not deserving of this vicious killing. He was not able to defend himself. The killer just came up on him and just shot him. He wasn't able to do anything but sit there and just take bullet after bullet after bullet. And no one deserves to die like that or be shot like that. I ask you to please, if anyone out there know anything, please, please call the police immediately. As we all know, we need the police at times, and we call 911. Now the police is asking for our help to capture this killer. So if anybody know anything, please call 911, because we never know. Someone else's family could be the next victim. Thank you.
You know, I've thought about this thing for a minute, and you know, it's one of those situations where, you know, you feel like you want revenge, but, you know, who wants another mother to hurt like this? Who wants another family to go through this? And it's really just a sad situation, that it just is an ongoing situation with the guns just everywhere, killing people all over. We just went through this with a friend of ours over in PG County. You know, her son was shot in the back and in the back of the head 3 times. I mean, it's just like senseless. It's just crazy. It's like, when does it stop? I mean, how do we get the reins around this whole situation and just pull it down to where it's safe to walk the streets, you know, just, I don't know, just safe to go out and hang with your family and have a good time without this. You know, it's just entirely too much of it. It's just way out of hand. You know, if you're hearing this, I mean, you know, just give up. Just come home. Just go sit down. You know, it doesn't mean the end of your life. You know, you might be able to talk to somebody that's going through some things and help somebody else not to do something totally stupid. You know, it's a good day just to surrender this situation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Wims. Any questions? Drew.
Yes, Chief, thank you. Either for you or Major, it sounds like Mr. Trout might be getting a little bit of assistance from girlfriend, ex-girlfriend. Have you been able to interview her? Is she cooperating at all? Is she pulled into this in some way?
Yeah, I'll let Major O'Carroll go into that, but we've certainly revealed enough to give the impression, which is an accurate assessment of what we're dealing with. It's gamesmanship on the killer's part, and we believe he may be given aid right now in his elusive efforts. And those folks, if we can identify criminal misconduct on anyone who is providing safe harbor for him, will be subject to criminal charges as well. So the Major can elaborate on that a little bit. But before he does, Casey Kirkland is at the far end of the podium, and she has remained our constant point of contact with the entire Wims family. And she works for our Victim Services Division. She's a victim specialist, and I just wanted to acknowledge her. And Casey, thank you for your work. Major, do you want to add to that?
So Drew, 2 things I'll say is everything the Chief said. But I'll also say that this character is married into a family, and that most of that family have been very supportive, cooperative, and informative, and I thank them publicly for that. If we find anyone that interferes with this arrest, the law will be on our side to hold them accountable. We're looking and listening. But I'll be candid to say that Trot McLean called 911 over the past 60 days, and I and my staff have listened to that call. He knows he's wanted. He actually says that he's wanted for murder. So he, you know, he has some responsibility to turn himself in. And we've been at several houses in the area attempting to look for him, and we've gotten a couple of calls, sightings. They just haven't been him. I know one thing over the past 60 days, our patrol officers and our SWAT team have been hot on his heels. What I and the Chief and I think the rest of the people up here, we've all talked about, is we don't want anyone else to get hurt. Again, that's why we are asking for his surrender, and if not, we'll find him and get him in cuffs.
Can you speak to the nature of his 911 call? What was he calling about?
So he called in a dispute that he was the complainant. I have reason to believe that that might not have been a legitimate call, but it was him on the call, and he does give an explanation that he's wanted. He wasn't there when we arrived at the said location, so we're looking into that circumstance with high scrutiny.
Was that call on Sunday evening this past?
It was not. Yep. Any other questions?
I know a concern from community members that obviously you mentioned the attempts to get him right. Some people on social media saying, is he hiding out in just random places, and that I might be a concern. He might be in my backyard. He might be in my home, and I'm not aware of that.
Yeah.
Any indication of that?
So the immediate community is concerned, and I attended a community meeting on an unrelated topic, and this came up because the community knows that they've seen an increase in patrol officers and detectives, and like Major Carroll said, even our SWAT team has been involved. So we don't want this killer to harm or kill anyone else, and we need to get him in custody. So part of our message today to the community is not just the $11,000 enhanced reward, which is a significant enhancement to a reward, but it's just a message to everyone that we are not taking a knee on our full court press efforts to put this guy in cuffs. So as much as the community needs to hear that, I want to say that to them. So they're going to continue to see us in their community until we get this guy under arrest. So they've certainly seen an uptick in our presence. But again, the more time goes by, he's desperate. He's desperate. He's making phone calls to us. He's probably moving from night to night, from place to place. So desperate folks do dangerous things. So we want to save him from himself and protect the community and start his journey in the criminal justice system where he can be held accountable for this vicious killing.
It seems by what you've been sharing with us that obviously he's still in the county. He's making calls. He's making himself known that you're looking for him. Is there at all concern that with upping this that he might escape to another jurisdiction and try to get out?
I can't predict what actions he's going to take, but I think sometimes he's local, and we don't have any reason to believe that he's going to suddenly depart what's known to him probably his entire life. So we think he's going to remain local. We have some safeguards in place that will alert us if he makes travel plans that require some type of financial transaction, and we would be aware of that. But we think he's going to stay local until he gets caught. Anybody else?
I do have one more.
Sure.
Any vehicle perhaps that might be associated to him that we could track down? Or?
So the vehicle he used on October 2nd is evidence, will be evidence that goes to trial. So we don't have a vehicle he's in. As the chief said, we do think he's moving couch to couch, but we ask our community, check the bushes, check your neighborhood, and if you see him, don't hesitate. Call 911. Keep a distance. Don't try to interfere. No citizen arrests. Let law enforcement do the right thing. And the right thing is to get this warrant served, to get this case heard. And I've said this. Maybe I'll finish on this note. All defendants, even this character, has the presumption of innocence, and he'll have his day or days or weeks in court to explain his side of the story. This act of violence on October 2nd wasn't random. It was a targeted act of violence, and he has some explaining to do. Thank you for announcing our reward has been moved up to $11,000. We appreciate the work of our community and our media to get that word out. Thank you.
We thank you all so much for coming out today, and we very much thank the family especially for coming out today and being here with us. We'll be updating our blog with any more information on this, and you can follow us at Fairfax County PD for any more information. Thank you.